1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
How far did you run this weekend, Kelly?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Like a couple days before.
Just do short runs?
Yeah, we won't even do much.
Yeah.
No matter the crisis, every victim needs justice.
I will put Danny's killer in prison for the rest of his life. You have my word. I selected each one of you for a reason. You're all great Americans. Great Americans. Look to the law that binds us together as a people. I'm not gonna lose.
Don't.
This case is why I do what I do.
Chicago Justice premieres March 5th on NBC.
On The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, First Lady Michelle Obama drops by. NBC tonight.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Glover.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. We're learning more tonight about the 2 children who died this weekend in a car crash in Walker County.
It happened near State Route 136 and Cantrell Road on Saturday night. All 3 passengers died. 51-year-old Christopher Rolls, 5-year-old Blake Hunt, and 10-year-old Brandon Hunt. The crash report says alcohol may have contributed to the crash. New at 11, Channel 3's Kelly McCarthy talked with the family's pastor about what the community can do to help Kelly.
Greg, the North Georgia pastor spent all day with the grieving family, helping the children's mother cope with the loss of 2 of her sons and her fiance.
She is amazing as far as her strength goes. I think she's just running on adrenaline.
The mother of Brandon and Blake Hunt was comforted with prayers on Monday. Her 2 sons and fiance left to go to the store on Saturday and never made it back home.
That night, they had to go together. They had to be in the same car together.
Pastor Charles Bishop says the 2 brothers were inseparable. Brandon, age 10, was the protective big brother.
One who always looked after Blake. Him and Blake were very close.
Blake, only 5 years old, was curious and playful. Just hours before the crash, the boys went hunting together.
Blake couldn't get through the briars. There's rabbit hunting. And so Brandon would go back and help him through the briars and hold him off of him and just took care of him. It's so fitting that they went to heaven together.
Their mother gave Pastor Bishop these pictures to share with us. Family photos, and one picture Brandon drew of his family tubing together.
And then that's the rest of his family there that he drew there.
Brandon and Blake had an older brother and 2 sisters. It still hasn't sunk in. Their brothers will not be coming home.
Their brothers and sisters is going to miss them tremendously. Kylie, the 5-year-old, put a little candy bar on Brandon's bed, a little Twix bar, because she said, when my Bubba wakes up, he'll want this candy bar.
Bishop's Church has created a Hunt Family Memorial Fund. We're told the family did not have insurance. Funeral arrangements are still being made for the victims. Live in the studio, Kelly McCarthy, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Kelly, thank you. 10-year-old Brandon was the only one buckled in with a seatbelt at the time of the crash. According to the report, officers found a cooler with beer and open containers in the van, and a blood test will, of course, determine if that played a role with the driver.
Fire destroyed a home on Signal Mountain this afternoon. It appears to be a total loss. It happened around 4:30 on Mountain Hollow Drive. Officials say the family was home when the fire started in an upstairs bedroom. No injuries were reported, but damages are valued at $400,000. The cause of the fire is unknown. The Red Cross is giving the family emergency assistance.
A North Georgia man has been sentenced to 30 years on vehicular homicide charges. 60-year-old Gary Cooper pleaded guilty to 2 counts of vehicular homicide, driving under the influence, and driving with a suspended license. Cooper told police he was trying to light a cigarette when his vehicle crossed the center line of Dawnville Road in Dalton in April of last year. He struck a motorcycle and killed Wanda and Wesley Cummings. Cooper will serve 15 years in prison, then 15 years probation.
Here's a news story you don't hear about every day. A grenade was found in Marion County this afternoon off Old Dunlap Road. Part of the road was closed for the bomb squad to remove the grenade. No one was injured. It's unknown how the grenade got there or if anyone will face charges.
The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office is investigating an act of vandalism. Deputies say suspects left messages on several signs near Wallace A. Smith Elementary and Hunter Middle School in Ottawa. One of the signs has since been removed. Not clear when the signs were vandalized or who's responsible, but residents nearby say they are disappointed.
There's no sense in that. I mean, what are they proving? What are they trying to get out of it? Somebody has no respect for other people's property. I mean, that's about all I can say about it.
The Sheriff's Department's investigating the crime. If you know anything about it, call the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department.
Early voting is underway, but it's been slow for this year's Chattanooga City election. The candidates for Chattanooga mayor attempted to get voters on their side at a forum tonight at Eastgate Town Center. Current Mayor Andy Burke, former Councilman David Crockett, Councilman Larry Groen, and Chris Long all want to be Chattanooga's next mayor. Candidates for the open city council seats were also there at tonight's forum. The city election is Tuesday, March 7th.
On the school patrol tonight, the search firm selected to find the next leader for Hamilton County Schools has posted that job description on its website. The Hamilton County School Board voted in October to hire the firm Coleman, Liu & Associates for a nationwide search to find the next superintendent of schools. It's a Charlotte-based search firm. Is one of 3 choices that had the highest price tag of $60,000. There's a link to the entire job description for the next superintendent at WRCBTV.com.
It may be clear in the morning, but you could regret it if you forget to take your umbrella along.
I think there's a hint in there. Let's
Perhaps.
check in with the Chief Meteorologist, Paul Bearettes, to see when we can expect some rain. Hey, Paul.
It's going to be a while yet. We got all this rain that's well out to the west of us right now. This is out from Memphis on westward all the way into the Ozarks throughout the Little Rock area. So there's plenty of rain out there, and it's moving straight from the south to the north. We'll take a look at Vipercast. We'll put this into motion. You can see the clouds increasing throughout the night. We've got partly cloudy skies right now, and again, the clouds increasing. This is around noon with a southeasterly wind. Then afternoon, the clouds are really going to start to increase. And we got some showers that'll be popping up here and there, but again, they're just going to be showers that are building up. Some of the rain could get a little heavier at times as 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. So again, more rain then. By noon on Wednesday, still a little leftover rain. Then it sort of fades out. We start to get some breaks in the clouds into Wednesday night. And by Thursday morning, again, we're definitely going to see some breaks in that cloud cover. We're thinking about maybe between 2 and 4/10 of an inch of rain coming up over the next 48 hours or so. I've got the complete 7-day in just a few minutes.
Paul, thank you. We'll check back in with you. It's been an unusually mild winter, to say the least. That's having a positive impact on family budgets. We're using less electricity than we have during colder winters, and EPB officials say you should expect lower power bills in March.
The main advantage of the mild weather is that TVA is having to buy less fuel, and they're having to fire up less fossil fuel plants to keep up with the demand. Because it's so mild, people are using their heat less.
Fuel cost adjustment has gone down slightly. On average, Chattanooga families will see about $1.50 savings per household next month, and every little bit helps.
It does. After the break on Eyewitness News at 11, find out what caused a 100-pound canister to fly 2 blocks and crash through a home.
Plus, how a group of Walker County inmates saved their fire chief and mentor after watching him get caught in a serious crash. Stay with us.
Russia's ambassador to the United Nations died suddenly today. Russian officials said Vitaly Churkin fell ill in his New York office. The 64-year-old diplomat was rushed to the hospital where he died one day before his 65th birthday. Churkin had been Russia's envoy at the United Nations since 2006. The cause of his death is not known yet.
On this President's Day, some Americans took to the streets in various cities around the country to proclaim their opposition to the current president. They called it Not My President's Day. The rallies took place in big cities. Organizers in Los Angeles posted on Facebook that their rally's goal at City Hall was to, quote, peacefully protest everything Donald Trump stands for, unquote. But not all the ralliers opposed President Trump. One group of Trump supporters stood in the middle of a New York City gathering to back the president.
Well, today, President Trump named Army Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster as his national security advisor. The appointment, announced this afternoon at Mar-a-Lago, came a week after Michael Flynn resigned from the position. President Trump described McMaster as being a man of tremendous talent and experience. The president's acting national security advisor, retired Army Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, will remain as chief of staff for the National Security Council.
A compressed air canister flew 1,400 feet just before it crashed into a home in Ohio. It happened over the weekend. Authorities say that canister came from a nearby construction site. It was 2 blocks away. A worker was cutting scrap metal and sliced into the can. He didn't know it was still filled with air. 100-pound container launched from the site and hit the home. Created a huge hole, as you see right there. No one was injured. They say the employee who cut that canister was fired.
Amazing video shows the SpaceX rocket landing perfectly at Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral. Take a look. You can see the rocket descending through the clouds on this video posted by Elon Musk on Instagram. The SpaceX CEO captioned the video, "Baby came back." Wow, right there in the middle. The rocket has landed 5 other times on sea platforms. This is the first landing on land. The unmanned Falcon rocket blasted off yesterday morning. The capsule the rocket launched is designed to deliver and return cargo for NASA. It's headed for the space station.
Looks like a video game, but it's the real thing.
It's amazing.
Coming up on Eyewitness News at 11.
It was a pretty normal day from the beginning, and then all of a sudden it just went.
Walker County inmates described the moments leading to a crash that seriously injured their mentor. How they were able to save the man's life. Next.
Coverage you can count on. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
Tonight we hear from the men who saved the life of a local fire chief. Inmates serving on the Walker State Prison Fire Department were on their way to Rossville when Chief Matthew Manns was struck head-on by another vehicle.
The inmates who were following behind him rescued the man who taught them how to be firefighters. Channel 3's Kate Smith has their story.
More than 200 Georgia inmates serve in the Offender Firefighter Program. Those state inmates respond to over 3,000 calls a year and know how to jump in when someone is in trouble. When the Walker County Fire Chief found himself in harm's way, he says his men answered the call.
It was a pretty normal day from the beginning, and then all of a sudden it just went.
Firefighters at Station 9 are more than inmates. They're brothers. When their chief was involved in an accident, they didn't hesitate.
We didn't really have time to think about it. The training just kicked in, and the guys just all started pulling tools off, and we immediately went into the extrication process.
Chief Matthew Mann's van was struck head-on. The inmate who was riding along didn't want to share his story on camera, but says he saw the car coming.
I was calling for Chief Mann at the same time, for a response. He answered and complained about leg pain, so I went from there.
The chief spent months training these men for situations like this.
It was right before our face, and it was one of our own guys. And all we could do is just go into training and respond to what we would normally do.
They pulled Mann from the vehicle before help could arrive.
That's just what we do. So whether it's one of us, person, animal, whatever it is, if it requires our job to go to work, we're going to work no matter what.
He was transferred to Erlanger Medical Center, where he went under 9 major surgeries in just 11 days.
Something supernatural happened, and it was more powerful than we can understand.
1 month after the crash, the chief married the woman he calls the love of his life. A day the two say wouldn't be possible if not for these inmates.
Calling for Chief Man at the same time, for a response. He answered and complained about leg pain, so I went from there.
They know how I feel about them. I mean, they have my utmost respect. They're a great group of guys, and I greatly appreciate everything they did.
As they wait for Chief Man to recover and return, they're ready for the next call.
Appreciate what he shared and taught us to keep a station running properly, business-wise.
It's life-saving work that helps give these men hope for a better future. For that, they credit Chief Man.
Things on point as of right now, because Chief did teach us well down here.
About 2 years remain in Roy Abrams' sentence, one he received for robbery. He plans to start new with a job as a firefighter when he's released. A second chance at life for these men and their chief.
He's our chief, and no matter what, we're just going to be 100% with him, just like we are with everybody else.
Matthew Mann will remain at Siskin Hospital for the next few weeks while he works to build back his strength. The other driver in the crash was also injured. Officials with the Georgia State Patrol say the other man crossed multiple lanes of traffic. They took blood samples and are still waiting to get those results. No charges have been filed. In the studio, Kate Smith, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And Kate was invited to Chief Man's wedding over the weekend.
And she's posted a full story of their nuptials online at WRCBTV.com. Let's head back over to the Storm Alert Center and get a broader weather picture from one Paul Bearettes. Hey, Paul.
That's right. We'll start off with the school day forecast for tomorrow. Everybody going back to school. We're going to see some clouds gradually increasing throughout the day. Could have a few breaks in the morning, but it's going to be mild, 51. The normal high is around 57, so this is remarkably warm. And by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, cloudy skies, 66. I think the rain will hold off. The reason, because it's out west, it's right along the Mississippi and out through the Ozarks and through the bayou country of Louisiana. Some pretty good storms down there, but you can see the motion is almost straight from the south to the north. The whole area is slowly pushing off towards the east, so it's going to be a while before it gets here. Pull back a little bit, it weakens a little bit as it moves north into Illinois and Wisconsin, up into Michigan too. Winds are calm right now, 53 in the city, 52 Cleveland, Dalton 51, Fort Payne 50, Athens about 49, Murphy's already at 46, and there are some breaks in the clouds. 71 and 42, the high and the low for today. We're about 1.5 inches below normal in rain, so we really could use some rain. 75 was the high in Scottsboro with Dalton at 73, Calhoun 74, Chatsworth and Trenton at 73, Blue Ridge was 72, 73 in Delano, 69 at Linda Ursum's house, but out over the downtown area was in the low 70s. Ottawa was 71, and Dunlap 73 with Soddy Daisy 68, Red Bank 69, and about 68 all the way up to Spring City and 10 Mile with 72 out in your Etowah, and Pikeville at 71. Turtletown was 70, 72, and Murphy also in Jasper. Another look at our regional Vipercast showing the southeasterly winds. This is tomorrow morning around 7. And then we stop this at around 5 or so. Showers just starting to move in, very light stuff. The heavier rain south of Birmingham as this cold front slips in. And then we're going to see more rain coming in to 7 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. So Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning, we're definitely going to see some rain. Then it'll start to break up into the afternoon by Wednesday at 5. Just a few sprinkles left over, but still plenty of clouds with that southeasterly wind. By 10 o'clock Wednesday night, most of the rain is over with, but then overnight a sprinkle may form, but southerly winds are still going to be coming up as a real big storm moves across the Great Lakes. And then by 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, it wouldn't be impossible for a sprinkle, but generally dry weather, and the temperature is not too bad. Pinpoint forecast coming up for tomorrow, Graysville 66, and you should see the clouds increasing throughout the day, and Ridgeside about 67 for that high. Now tonight, just a few clouds, partly cloudy, 51. For tomorrow, 68, some showers, probably after 4 or 5, and they'll be very light to begin with. Then overnight, for tomorrow night, 53, and a pretty good chance for showers on the 7-day forecast. First half of Wednesday, we have a chance for that rain with 67. Then Thursday, 71. By Friday, with that flow coming out of the south, mid-70s. Boy, it's going to feel like spring. And then temperatures will start falling after some rain Friday night and into Saturday morning. And temperatures will be dropping into the 50s. Then cooler on Sunday, but lots of sun. Another pretty much sunny day coming up for next Monday. So no winter weather coming around here at all.
Temperatures falling, but not that much considering the time
That's right.
of year.
It's about near normal day.
Yeah, Paul, thank you.
Coming up next in sports, the Bradley girls pick up another district title, all while keeping their perfect season intact.
Plus, the basketball Vols talk about the importance of these next 4 games and the lack of importance on early bracket projections. Paul Shaheen has sports next.
The Bradley Central girls have won 98 of their last 102 district basketball games under head coach Jason Reuter. Yet for the 7th straight year, he did not win District Coach of the Year. If you ask him, he'd likely say the district team title would have been more important. And that's what's on the line. Was on the line tonight. The District 5 3A Girls Championship against the very good East Hamilton squad. First quarter action. It starts a little back and forth. This is Haley Hughes' spot on from three-point land on that there. Other end, Madison Hayes doing work in the paint with the putback for the Canes. So as the first quarter expires, Bradley gets a buzzer-beating tip-in from Kaylee McCree. Bearettes up 5. Second quarter, the Canes are battling. 5 straight points in the paint from Kiana Suttles. East Hamilton pulls within 3. At that point, Bradley starts to flex its muscle. Specifically, star junior Ryan Howard. She rips off 7 straight points here. Bradley hits the half of 17, and that trend would continue in the second. 81-40, the Bearettes roll, winning yet another district championship. One other district title in the area from tonight. The Marion County girls take the district 6A title over Van Buren. 70-56 your final score. There will be district titles on the line, boys and girls, over the next few days. We will keep the highlights and the scores coming. Sad news to get to. Legendary Howard head basketball coach Henry Bowles died early Sunday morning. If you talk to anyone who knew him, It's obvious Henry was bigger than the game, bigger than his 616 wins. He had 16 state tournament appearances, 13 district titles, 10 region titles, and yes, he was bigger than that 62-game winning streak he had in the 1980s as well. Hey, twice this year now, UT head coach Rick Barnes has said the Vols are better than they were a year ago. Better as in they now have an inside game. Their inability to score in the paint was well documented last season. The question down the stretch this year is with the team's maturity.
I think at times where we've fallen short, I think our maturity has shown up. I think there's a lot of people that think that right now will be a question, how do we handle this coming down the stretch? And it'll be interesting because some of these guys are, a number of them are a year removed from high school, and you know, the stakes are obviously bigger now than they've ever been involved with. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond. And like you, I don't know. I hope that they just take care of the process and we go out and we do what we talk about.
Well, the Vols certainly did what they talk about their last time out. They blew Missouri out of the water. That win snapped a 2-game slide, which was important because time is running out in terms of Tennessee's tournament resume. They sit at 7-7 in league play with just 4 games left before the SEC tournament. In all, there's about 7 middle-of-the-pack SEC teams that, as the bracket projections say, aren't in.
The brackets mean nothing right now. I mean, you got 4 games left, and then we've all witnessed in our lifetime teams get hot in the tournament, win some more games, teams get knocked out in the tournament that are right there. There's just so much basketball left to play in terms of the games that mean a lot.
Meanwhile, we've harped on the Mocs' offense or lack thereof since Saturday's blowout home loss to rival ETSU, a game where they turned it over 19 times and scored just 51 points, thanks to a few late 3-pointers. They've been practicing since, and we plan to speak with the Mocs tomorrow before practice. They're at Sanford this Wednesday. Now they've dropped to 4th place with 3 games left before the Southern Conference tournament in Asheville. At 24 car in the Daytona 500 pole, well, they go hand in hand. 3 straight years, 3 straight drivers, 2 straight poles, 2 different drivers. Make it 3 in a row now. Jeff Gordon in 2015, Chase Elliott in 2016, and Chase Elliott again this year. Chase wrapped up his 2nd straight Daytona 500 pole win yesterday. His teammate Dale Jr. will also be on the front row, and for those keeping track, Joey Logano won yesterday's Daytona Clash, that non-points race. The Daytona duels are set for Thursday, the 500 set for Sunday.
It's already time.
I can't believe it's already here, yeah.
That'll do it for sports. Paul has your 7-day forecast. Oh, Bears, that is, when we get back.
We're going to start off with the clouds increasing throughout the day. Temperature is pretty mild in the low 50s into the 60s by afternoon. Clouds will start thickening up, and probably after 4 or 5 we could see some light rain showers move in, and those light rain showers will continue throughout the overnight. And then about 66 for the actual high tomorrow, 67 Wednesday, and then 71 Thursday, mid-70s by Friday. Another round of showers late Friday night and then Saturday morning.
Thank you, Paul. Before we say goodnight on this President's Day, let's say happy birthday to George Washington. It comes up on the 22nd, but...
Yeah, it's the 285th birthday for the first president. At Valley Forge National Park, an actor portraying the Continental Army general cut a ceremonial cake with his sword. Cupcakes and samples of Mrs. Washington's great cake recipe were served.
The first public celebration of President Washington's birthday was at Valley Forge in 1778. So if you feel like you've missed it today, Wednesday,
Yeah,
offer up
celebrate
a
again.
happy birthday to GW.
Find that great cake recipe. It's online somewhere, I'm sure.
Certainly.
Yes, thanks for joining us.
Have a good night.